Matthew chapter 19. This is going to be a tough one for a lot of people, but let's get started. When Jesus had finished saying these things, he left Galilee and went into the region of Judea, to the other side of the Jordan. Large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. Some Pharisees came to him to test him. They asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and every reason?" "Haven't you read," he replied, "that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, 'For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate.' Why then," they asked, "did Moses command that a man give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away?" Jesus replied, "Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard. But it was not this way from the beginning. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for marital unfaithfulness, and marries another woman, commits adultery." The disciple said to him, "If this is the situation between a husband and a wife, it is better not to marry." Jesus replied, "Not everyone can accept this word, but only those to whom it has been given. For some are eunuchs because they were born that way. Others were made that way by men, and others have renounced marriage because of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it." There's a lot here, So there's a point in here that we've spoke about, and I want to go over real quick. Some Pharisees came to him to test him. They asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and every reason?" And the reason why they were bringing this up is because, remember, these are people who studied the law. And these are people who have determined in their own hearts and their own feelings and their own judgments, based off of so-and-so and whoever and themselves, what's best for Israel, what's best for the people, instead of the Lord. They were starting to get to a point where they made their own rules, and if it became too difficult, then maybe they might bring the Lord into it, maybe. But really, they can just deal with it themselves. And at this point, they were testing Jesus, trying to see, because they themselves really didn't know either, but they had in their own mind what they felt. And that was all the way utilizing Moses. And then Jesus told them, the reason why you were given this information is because your hearts were hard. Think about that. Bringing past to present. When we decide to make decisions on our own, yeah, it can definitely mean your heart is hardened, calloused, because we're not seeing the bigger picture. We're not seeing how things affect in life. We're not seeing the whole thing. Whereas the Lord, he sees everything and knows everything. Before we go on, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?